You women will be pleased to hear that one of the most essential items on a car was invented not by a man, but by a woman. While there was a man working on an invention of this product in the UK, it was actually a woman from Alabama that invented the very first fully operational windscreen wiper. She comes from Alabama. So the next time you're driving somewhere and it rains, or you're up north and it snows, or bugs get all over your windshield, or grime gets all over your windshield, and you turn on your wipers, you thank Mary Anderson, who in 1902 developed these wonderful wipers. Now, before cars, windshield wipers were not needed. I mean, a horse-drawn carriage was pulled by a horse who had built-in wipers called eyelids. And horses were smart enough to know that when they couldn't see ahead, they just simply stopped. But today, as you may know, we have sensors built into our windshield that turn on the moment it rains. And in fact, they're intermittent so that they come on at variable speeds depending on the circumstances. Now, why do I give you this history? Well, because I think as I look at these wipers, I get a hint on how to deal with fear, how to deal with unbelief, and how to deal with a lack of assurance. You see, what fear does is it has a way of blinding us. That's what anxiety does. That's what temptation does. It tends to blind us, to block our vision. For example, suppose you're driving down the freeway, you're going 70 miles an hour, and your enemy comes right up alongside of you, rolls down their window, and throws mud at your window or oil at your window. Well, at that speed, you're going to swerve. You could actually wreck your car, but turn on your wipers. But just because that happens doesn't mean that you're a bad driver. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't drive. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to get to your destination. No, these are just challenges that come along. Turn on your wipers so that you can continue to see. Without a doubt, every day you and I face obstacles. Navigating life can be trying to get somewhere, and your car is pounded with rain or covered with snow, or bugs hit your window and you can't see where you are going. Instead of quitting or thinking that you're going the wrong way, you have something that has been invented not by man, but by God. It's simply called faith. Faith is a gift from God. Not only are you saved by faith, but you are instructed to live by faith. Faith is like your windshield wipers. When fear comes up, when stress comes up, when temptation starts to strangle you, just turn on the wipers of faith. And you need this because fear and anxiety and temptation blur your vision, and you can't see God so well. You can't see His love. You can't see His power or His presence or His provision when you really need it. You can't see His heart for you. You can't see what Jesus did for you on the cross. You can't see that He actually rose from the dead, declaring that He, in fact, is winning and that He's going to win for you. No, you turn on the wiper of faith and you push fear and anxiety and temptation so that you can see clearly. I actually got this idea from something I read from John Piper, and he took me to Psalm 56, verse 3, which goes this way: when I am afraid. Let me pause there. When I am afraid. He isn't saying he never becomes afraid. He's not being Mr. Fearless. He's not being Mr. Stoic. He's not trying to be a tough guy. He's saying, when I am afraid, which indicates that he had fear, but he tells us what to do. He tells us what he did. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. The reason this resonated with me was it taught me that fear and faith can coexist at the very same time. And so when fear hits, I turn on the wipers, just like I turn on the wipers when it rains or snows. When I do that, those things are still there, but they're not controlling me. They're not taking me off the road. I keep moving forward. In fact, as my vision is cleared, I draw closer to Jesus. I confide in Jesus. I unburden myself to Jesus. He can see all the things that are clogging up my vision, and he still loves me. And it's in that environment that my assurance begins to grow, because he knows my weaknesses, he knows my sins, and he still loves me. And faith steadies me. It helps me see the path again, and I walk in ways that he wants me to walk. So the next time you're driving down the road and it rains or snows or bugs hit your windshield, turn your wipers on and thank Mary Anderson. But more than that, switch on the wipers of faith so you can push aside those things that blur your vision from seeing how wonderful Jesus really is.